Hello, and I'm Rocky Dennis, and we are gonna now finish off the Snatcher menace that has been tormenting Neo Kobe City for the last time. It is the last episode of our Snatcher playthrough, and yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, and I hope that you're gonna enjoy this ending. Before we get started, I do want to say a couple of things. First of all, little content warning, there's going to be some pretty gruesome imagery quite early on in this. We're also going to have a minor jump scare, which actually is telegraphed quite a lot, and I'll try to say beforehand, but just like don't keep your volume like too high, I guess, if you're listening on headphones. But we're gonna have some blood. We're gonna see some corpses and stuff. It's gonna get a little bit nasty. That's the main content warning. If you're watching this on the YouTube stream, there's gonna be a more detailed one in the description down there somewhere. I also want to say before we carry on that this is my first stream as a Twitch affiliate. And I do want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has followed and everyone who's in the chat. It's just, yeah, thank you so much. I was really hoping that we're going to cross the barrier before the end of the year, and we just barely made it, and that's all up to you. So thank you so much. The gore is not animal related, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I think maybe we should just get cracking, honestly, because we do have quite a lot that we are... While the game is certainly like revving up now, we do still have quite a lot to go. So, let's go. Now, if you'll remember where we were, we have gone back to Queen's Hospital with Random Hajil, who saved us from a weird sabotage crash type thing in the end of the last episode. The building is not typical of those constructed as hospitals. It was probably originally used as an office building or for some other purpose. Sometimes people's preconceived notions are capable of distorting reality, aren't they? They sure are. A surprising number of people are in the area. Car and pedestrian traffic is quite heavy. It's their camouflage. It's an old-style electronic lock door. So, Fancy Cat is in the house, and Dappling is in the house. Thank you both so much. I hope you're both doing well. So a couple of things that I'm going to talk about in this game, because this being a Hideo Kojima game, and me being a Hideo Kojima fan, I find this game fascinating for a lot of reasons, and I think I've touched on a lot of these before. But I find it interesting that this being his second ever game that he wrote and directed, it is the starting point for so many things that would later become synonymous with his work. And we're going to see a lot more of this later, and for an interesting reason. I'll know when I get in there. So let's actually see if we can move inside. So we were here before, but we've now found out that they actually had a basement. So that's what we're going to check out this time. We're inside the hospital. It's really quiet in here. There has to be an entrance to the lower level in here somewhere. So we can move. Let's go into the first door. We're in room number 1. Looks like an operating room. It appears to be a very well-equipped operating room. Actually, I think all of this, I think we've already seen before, so I'm not going to read all of them. Actually, I think, hang on a second. What's behind door number 1? Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Oh no, that was a door, yes. Let's investigate a little bit. Because we do need to find out how to get to the bottom one. I'm gonna actually load up my trusted walkthrough that I've been using the whole time. Sorry if I'm blinding you. But yes, we're gonna. I'm gonna need it for this episode to not be like 4 hours long, which I don't think any of us wants. Right. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna go in here. Pitch black in here, ain't it? So let's use you. Turn on the light. The light is on now. I turn control of it over to you, Gillian. Yes, we know, we know. So let's look. Hang on. This room may have some kind of trap or other device in it. There's still something about this room that we haven't examined yet. Well, let's hurry up and check it out. Yeah, this is pretty creepy. Hang on, why is it not? I should be able to... Hang on a minute. I think I should, if you're gonna stand random. Yeah, random's pretty cool. I should be able to move the light around. Hang on. Let's go back in there. And we're back. Turn on light. Oh, that's what I missed, yeah. Go press the B button, yeah. So we noticed these before. They run under this desk. Perhaps this desk is designed to slide. I think you're right. There are rails on the floor. Rails? That's funny. Maybe this is the way to the lower level. There must be a switch somewhere. So we gotta find a switch. Where could a switch be? Could it be? Investigate. We gotta find... This music is so wonderfully creepy. What's this? Face to face. Doesn't this look like the picture that's on the wall of the chief's office? Hey. Do any of you know, by chance, who Random Hajil's character design is based on? That'll be your little quiz. That's a famous optical illusion, isn't it? I get it. Their eyes don't register optical illusions. We better check that out. It is not something a human would notice easily. It could be a sign of some kind. I bet this vase is some kind of switch. Alright, I will try lifting it up. Oh! That's not like a super hidden thing. That's pretty easy to do by accident. The desk slid to one side, revealing a stairway underneath. Revealing a stairway leading down.
This apparently leads down to a lower level.
It looks like Jamie was right. Queen's Hospital does have a basement.
And that basement is the Snatcher's main lair. Out of the frying pan and into the fire, as they say. Well, what do we do now, Gillian?
Yeah, so if anyone can figure out who Random Hajil is based on, it's a famous I'll say a famous celebrity in quite a famous movie. He's basically ripped straight out of it. So kind of guess, and then I don't know. I'll give whoever wins like a hug or something. Let's peep. It appears to go straight down. I don't read anything at the moment. Unlike the hallway, these stairs do not have any dust on them. In other words, our friends use this, right? Let's go down.
It's a very narrow stairway. We'll have to go down.
No, it's not.
file.
Okay, who's going to take the point?
That's obvious. The guy with the light.
Hey, that's not fair.
Can Metal Gear even walk downstairs? It's got teeny tiny little robot feet.
Well, what do we have here?
It's the hospital corridor.
It's the same hallway, but not the one that's on the first floor.
So what does that mean?
An entire floor of Queen's Hospital has been duplicated underground.
So the same floor is both upstairs and downstairs. Sort of like parallel worlds.
So that desolate setup upstairs is all just a smokescreen. They're making it look like the place is closed down, but in reality, they're keeping themselves quite busy.
Gillian, that means we're already right in the middle of their headquarters. Please use extreme caution.
Yeah, let's look around. There is a reception booth in the middle of the floor, as upstairs, and there are 3 doors off the hallway. Everything is exactly the same. It's like we jumped through time or something. I know I'm giving him kind of a Solid Snake voice, but I can't really do his actual voice. It's been polished quite meticulously, nothing like upstairs at all. I see. Yeah, it was a linoleum floor, huh? The monitors and control consoles all appear well cared for. In other words, this stuff gets looked at regularly. We better be real careful. Yeah, why isn't anyone here? We're about to see the other Gillian. Maybe the other Gillian is nice. The monitors are switched off, but the AC power lamps are still lit. And then can we investigate? It has been used quite recently. The monitors are still warm. Right, so we've got switches. Let's go to switch number 1. Killer Shrew, hello. Hope you're doing okay. Looks like they painted their computers on the screen behind the desk. Yeah. Kinda, actually. Let's move into door number 1. Good evening, Manuel. I was wondering what tier of lockdown do you have in your area? Well, we are smack bang in tier 3, I think. I don't know if they changed it. I've got my fellow Brummy bro in the chat. I think he can help better. I don't leave the house enough to know. I hope you're all doing okay. I said this at the beginning of the stream, and I just want to reiterate this. This is the first stream I'm doing since becoming a Twitch affiliate, so I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's following. Yeah, 3, potentially 4, depends what they say tomorrow. It's not a huge difference. But they're going to close non-essential stores, I think. When I spoke to a work, they said they decide to change tomorrow. Oh, fair enough. Makes sense. Sort of. But yeah, thank you so much for following. I could become a Twitch affiliate. You should now be earning channel points. And if you want, you can sub. But I'm not going to ask anyone to do that. But you can sub, you can give bits. And you currently don't have any custom emotes. But I will fix one. Because I believe I only have 1 slot I can use. But once I'll sort it out for the next stream. And then we'll get a custom emote. I've just got to decide what it's going to be. The lights are on, unlike upstairs. So we can now look around. There is an operating table in the middle of the room. This appears to be the real treatment area. With these lights, it actually looks like a real hospital. Various X-ray devices have been installed in the ceiling. Let's look over first. Alright, let's look over the entire room. It's a Snatcher! Don't scare me like that, it's just a specimen. A number of brand new medical monitors are installed. It appears to be a standard operating table. Cables run from it to a number of the machines around the room. It sounds... That looks more like papyrus. It's cyber papyrus. It's a model of a human skeleton, no doubt used for an anatomical study. Let's investigate a little bit. There is nothing of note besides the medical equipment. Besides the standard X and gamma rays, they can also project neutron and proton particle beams with this equipment. I would suspect that it is used in cancer treatment. These are monitors for ultrasound, MRI scanners, and other imaging equipment. They are already connected to the nearby machines. The surface of the bed is still quite warm. It's as if someone was lying there until just moments ago. It is not picking up any movement, at least not anymore. There was some movement, but I've lost it now. Well, that's creepy. This is rather grotesque. It is somewhat distorted. For a medical model, it's quite inaccurate. Let's look over again. Mild jump scare coming up very soon. But they do telegraph it. Let's shoot. That's pretty mild, but I want to let people know.
Did I get it?
The Snatcher's functions have been terminated. There's no doubt now that this is their maintenance facility. This one was probably still waiting to get its artificial skin installed.
So this is what they really look like, huh?
Yeah, that's the scariest thing about them. You can't tell them from real people once they've got that skin on.
Perhaps that's humanity's great weakness.
Skin.
We're always judging books by their cover.
And it's just that human weakness that they're out to take advantage of.
I love
All
it.
right, Random. Metal, let's go. The HQ's junk squad can take care of him later. We've got an investigation to do.
More shooting. I think it's definitely dead. Terminated this time. Yes, all its functions have ceased. I don't read any residual energy either. Well, you said that before.
Impressive! Looks like I misjudged you, Junker.
There's something very pleasing about these graphics. Feels almost like a Sierra adventure. Yeah, kinda. It's the same time era. The original game, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, was made in 1988. This version is 1994. So the graphics were redrawn, but they were still based on the original drawings. That was quite a tough customer. You get a few hundred of those together, and that would be it. Now, there are a couple of things I do want to point out in this game, which is that, do you remember in the first episode where they specified that they have never managed to get a specimen to test? Well, you shot that like, what, 3 times and it's dead, and it's like, it's not self-destructing or anything. What's the point? How can it be this hard? Damn it, Metal. I like that Kojima wears his influences on his sleeve. Yeah, that's clearly just a Terminator, yes. Obviously, you got the Blade Runner parallels. You've got Gillian Seed, who's clearly modelled after Harrison Ford in Blade Runner. And I'm running a little quiz as well. You might not have been in when I said, but I want people to figure out who Random is based on, the character design. Gillian, let's get on with the investigation. So I think we can investigate the Snatcher. There are a couple of inconsistencies like that, but I think mostly, I mean, this doesn't have the same level of ambition as like later Kojima games would. And I think more it's the fact that like if he could bring in all of this extra lore, he would, but obviously for the time. Hoi! And Leva is in the chat. Hope you're doing well. We've just killed a Snatcher. So it looks like this is where they're doing their treatment. And the proof is over there on the floor. The stench from that Snatcher we wasted is still around. As I don't think there's anything else we can do in here, so we're going to exit. Just like that last one, you never know when they might pop up. Keep your blaster ready, Gillian. Yeah, so they're clearly going to be just crawling, because if that one was just being treated. So we're going to use the switches again, and we can use switch number 2. Oh, no. Let me go inside. The designs of MGS characters are based on different eras of David Bowie. Yeah, there's a lot of Bowie in Metal Gear. Especially in 5, obviously. Look at this! So what kind of testing equipment is running? That's a real nasty sound. Gets on my nerves. I kind of like it. Big boobies. This room seems to be their real biotech research lab. Looks like Frankenstein could show up any minute. It is well equipped with micromanipulators, various types of lasers. It has a microsurgery system. No cobwebs in this room. I like this sound. Stop talking about boobies in my chat. There are a number of jars for formaldehyde and other chemicals. Also, there's like clearly a tube full of eyes. There are a number of machines for biotech experiments. It seems to be they're quite serious about their work. Oh my god. Stop talking about boobies in my chat. This is a serious stream. They are all finest quality monitors, microscopes and the like. Perhaps they're cultivating skin cells? The room is illuminated with red light. It makes for a very disquieting atmosphere. What are they doing here? What's with all these samples? This looks like a lot more than a place to treat skin cancer. Argon lasers, argon dye lasers. It's a device for selectively destroying certain types of cancer cells. They also have the latest gene cannon. Keeping it real as always. Fucking hell. Everything is quite neatly organized. There are samples here of monoclonal antibodies. What in the world is that? Antibodies which are said to have beneficial effects on cancerous melanomas. There's no mistake, this is definitely their maintenance hospital. Yeah, catch up, Gillian. We've already covered that. DNA synthesizers, DNA sequencers, a nucleic acid extractor, chromatography equipment, automatic pipetting devices. That's a particle accelerator used to generate a stream of heavy particles for a number of different treatment techniques. The machine is in standby mode. It looks like the Snatchers were working on artificial skin regeneration techniques as well as various cancer treatments. I'm sorry, I'm not my friend Andrew, who's a voice actor who can read this stuff properly. I'm a stupid amateur. We already did that. Honestly, I like this music. This is quite an impressive array of equipment. Some university hospitals are not stocked as well. Nuclear magnetic resonance microscopes, scanning tunnel microscopes, high voltage electron microscopes, electron beam holography cameras, street cameras. Gillian, the Snatchers obviously possess much greater intelligence than we have previously given them credit for. Nevertheless, their technology seems somewhat dated. Dated? What do you mean by that? The equipment and techniques they are using, most of these methods were abandoned years ago. This is well behind the current level of technology in most developed countries. It's a rough approximation, but I would say that they are 20 to 30 years behind the times. What's more, judging from the imbalance of the research material here, it appears to be primarily the work of one individual. You're telling me that all this work on the Snatcher's artificial skin is being carried out by one person, and not some government institution? The design of this lab itself is in violation of a number of the biohazard prevention safety codes. While a few safety cabinets have been installed, there is no autoclave or gas sterilizer anywhere. This is quite far from P4 level. I seriously doubt that this lab was set up by a government or any other large organization. Every episode needs a little boob, yeah, fair enough. This gives me a certain craving for Rise of the Dragon and Mean Streets. Sliver of Titty sounds like a black metal band. Don't encourage him. God damn it. Oh, we already did that. Yeah. Containers. There are a number of cell cultures and other specimens. It is all rather grotesque. That skeleton back there was probably waiting to get his skin here, eh? Do you think this place is only used for skin treatment? Phew, what a smell. Ugh, smells like rotting fish or something. That's the smell of decomposing protein. So that's the smell of cancer skin cells, like Gibson wrote about, eh? He wants to start a band. Ugh, I think I'm gonna be sick. Let's see what it is I need to... so I think we're gonna go back out. Hang on, sorry. So Gillian, now it's down to just room number 3. So we're gonna... do we investigate the switches again, maybe? There we go. We can press both at the same time.
Alright, let's try pushing both buttons simultaneously.
The 2 buttons are on opposite panels, so there's no way one person can push them both alone. But if 2 of us work together, it might do it.
That's it, Gillian. It makes perfect sense. It's the same system they used to use in nuclear missile silos in the late 20th century. Eliminates the risk of one man going nuts and acting alone.
Well, it's hard to be sure, but let's give it a try anyway. I've got button 1. Random, you push number 2. You ready? On 3. 1,
And Liava, I'm
2,
with you on this.
3.
Come on!
You did it! Door number 3 opened.
With safety measures like that, they must have had a good reason for wanting to keep it closed.
Pardon moi. Let's go to door number 3. Right, so I believe this is where we're going to see some, a little bit of blood and gore. And we're going to have some gruesome imagery, so look away if you don't want to see that. Brandon's gay, well, yeah. I was right.
Good God!
I read 4 human skeletons in this room.
It's their morgue!
Perhaps victims of the Snatchers?
Well, it doesn't look like whoever put them here was too worried about making sure they would rest in peace.
No, it doesn't. These have got to be their victims.
This is probably where they hide the bodies of the originals they snatch from places like Outer Heaven.
They probably picked Outer Heaven because it gets a lot of VIP traffic. Plus, during masquerade time, they could work the place and still keep their identities secret.
Yeah, and the guy who set up the link between them and Outer Heaven was Freddy, that taxi driver. They must have gone after him not because of who he was, but what he did. After all, with a taxi, there's plenty of chances to milk your customers for information. That's probably how they learned about Outer Heaven and Plato's Cavern.
I've been wondering what they had done with the bodies.
Want to hide a book? What better place than the library? Need to hide a body? How about the morgue?
And for them, keeping the bodies hidden is crucial. I mean, if somebody who's supposed to be dead is out walking the streets, it wouldn't be too hard to figure out that something screwy is going on.
That means that if we can figure out who these bodies were, then we just nailed 4 Snatchers.
Yeah. That is pretty good gore for the time. Yeah, it's pretty gruesome. It appears to have been a proper morgue at one time, but now it is being used as little more than a closet. There's a ventilation duct on one side of the room. One of the bodies is still decomposing, the other three are little more than skeletons. I like how the music is kind of goofy in this bit. Oh, this actually reminds me. I think I told a couple of people this already in the chat. But I was going to cook broccoli today. And I went to cut it all up. Went to wash it. And when I washed it and put it in the pan to boil it, I see a bunch of little caterpillary worm things. And I was grossed out. And that just reminded me of it. This part is a bit dark. Funky beats will even out. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of how I feel. It's like put a little bit of funk, a little funk groove in. There is a cover on the duck, but it's been weakened by oxidization. There are a few droppings of the floor. There are a few droppings on the floor from mice that were no doubt feeding on the bodies. Ugh. Gross. Sorry, we keep looking at this. A number of different insect larvae have been infesting the body. It hasn't been well preserved, to say the least. But it's definitely a human body. The insects manifesting on a decomposing body can be divided into 8 large groups. Each of these groups work on the body for roughly 15 days, making an 8x15 cycle. 8 by 15 day or 4-month cycle. As such, an analysis of the variety, number and size of the organisms on the body allows for a rather accurate estimation of which groups is currently present. In other words, you can figure out how long the victim's been dead without analyzing the body itself, right? On this particular body, flies have laid eggs, and the maggots have grown into adult flies, so it has been less than 30 days since death. As for the other 3 bodies, 1 full cycle has been completed, so at least 4 months have passed. Having a good old rave. To the funky groove beat. Cause of death. Can you determine the cause of death? The bodies are severely damaged. Such a determination would require more extensive facilities than are available here. What about the identity of the victims? Hair, clothing, even teeth, anything that could be used to make an identification is gone. Except the teeth? Damn Snatchers, they were careful to make sure their identities didn't get out. If we even had some teeth, we might be able to make an ID. There's teeth in there, bro. There's totally teeth. What about these teeth here? Oh, okay. They've been deliberately misaligned to prevent identification. Okay, well, sorry. How much do you want to bet that was like, that line was added like quite late? Because someone pointed out that like, hang on, you can clearly see that there are teeth on this picture. Well, I guess we'll never be able to ID them. There is a way. What? How? We can perform a simulated reconstruction. Fortunately, the skulls of the victims are still intact. Reconstruction, eh? Good idea. Great idea. Yeah, let's reconstruct. Metal, let's do this reconstruction thing on the bodies. Oh, whoops.
Now performing simulated reconstruction of the head and facial features of
There
each
we
of
go.
the 4
I'm
victims.
gonna find out who the Snatchers
Commencing
are.
with victim number 1. Now performing craniometric analysis. X-ray and sagittal X-ray, magnetic resonance imaging, and positron CT data gathered. Complete cranial data now being compiled. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction. First, victim's age. Estimate based on 1. Presence or absence of cranial fontanelles and chroma of epicranial sutures. 2. Area of facial region and cranium. 3. Height of upper and lower jaw and development of alveolar part. And 4. Location of cranial center of gravity. Next, victim's sex. Estimate based on 1. Overall size of cranium. 2. Parietal bone angle. And 3. Development of splachocranium. Lastly, victim's race. Estimate based on 1. Overall cranial configuration. 2. Volume of intercranial cavity. And 3. Mass of the skull. Now commencing soft feature reconstruction based on average results of above analysis. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of averaged values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of first victim completed.
It's Freddie Nielsen.
Moving on to second victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 2. Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the
This
previous
might be my
reconstruction.
favorite song on the soundtrack, by the way. I love this bit.
Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of second victim completed.
That's Lisa Nielsen.
Moving on to third victim. Now commencing
Right, now it's gonna get
reconstruction
interesting.
of victim number 3.
We knew about those
Starting
two.
craniometric analysis.
I'm gonna find out the two
Cranial
of the
data now being
Snatchers.
compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of third victim completed.
Who in the world is that?
That's the director of Queen's Hospital, Shin Fui, what's his face,
Chin Shu O Gillian. Moving on to last victim. Now commencing reconstruction of features of victim number 4.
Now this is gonna be
This one's
interesting.
the most recent. It's still decomposing.
Now starting craniometric analysis. Complete cranial data now being compiled using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Craniometric analysis complete. Now commencing reconstruction using the same techniques as the previous reconstruction. Reconstructing. Initial phase completed. Margin of error on estimate of victim's race 10% based on use of average values. Now adding postulated hair and eye features. Reconstruction of head of final victim completed.
It's the chief!
What?
The chief is a snatcher!
There we go.
Benson on the scrap of that patient record was Benson Cunningham.
Judging from the condition of the body, I would estimate that the snatching took place approximately 1 month ago.
So it was the chief who sabotaged our turbo cycle. And those matches we found in Harry's room, the chief must have put them there to try to set him up.
No doubt Harry figured it out and decided to leave that face-to-face message. Wait a minute. Didn't Mika say that Harry had left to go find the chief?
That's right. He was probably trying to track down some evidence on the chief.
Gillian, I'd say that this Harry has put himself in a pretty dangerous spot.
If it was the chief that sabotaged the turbo cycle, doesn't that mean that he already
Nope,
knows
we never
what
met him before he got snatched.
Damn! Harry and Mika are in danger!
That's far enough, Junker. Your little investigation is over.
It's them!
Who? Snatchers?
Get them!
My arm! I can't reach my blaster!
I'm hit in the leg.
Is that the best you can do, Junker?
Who's there?
Jin Shuo, you scum!
It seems you still have some fight left in you. You two are finished, but our plans move forward.
White guy
We are
doing
now
an
in phase
Asian
2.
accent.
And when we
Asian
do, not
accent.
only this city, but the entire world will be ours to command.
Phase 2? What are you talking about?
As you know, our operations have been hindered up to now by the flaws in our artificial skin. The skin's shortcomings have kept us away from ultraviolet rays, forcing us to do our work at night, underground, or in the winter. In the end, we had to construct a hospital like this, all because of the flaws in our artificial skin. This was the only difference between us and you humans. But now we have broken this barrier.
Huh?
We are on the verge of developing a perfect artificial skin, thanks to the cooperation of a new partner in our plan.
Perfect artificial skin? A new partner?
Once we have the new skin, nothing will be able to stop us. And with that, our plan moves to phase 2. Our little experiment in this city will end, and we'll move in force to take over the world.
Don't be so sure. You won't get out of the city that easy.
You humans are always so overconfident, so naive.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're aware that the Kyoto Summit, being held to decide how to handle the Snatcher problem, opens tomorrow.
Metal, is that right?
Yes, countries around the world are concerned about the Snatcher problem. It will be one of the main topics discussed at this year's summit.
That's right. Tomorrow, we attack the summit.
You must be crazy. The security there will be incredible. You won't even get close.
Must I explain everything to you, Junker? Aren't you even aware that a fellow Junker will be giving a special presentation?
At least his evil monologue has baller ass music.
Cunningham. So that's why you snatched him.
We've known that your chief would be speaking at the summit for over 3 months now.
Gillian, the summit is tomorrow. We have to hurry.
Listen, we have your chief. You Junkers are at our mercy, and so is this city. And tomorrow, we move on the world.
So where do you get an unironic first the city, then the world?
Achieve our long-awaited goal of global domination.
This accent could be more offensive, but it could also be a hell of less offensive.
We are an evolved life form, given life in the depths of the Kremlin by our creator, Modnar. We
So
are
we're just gonna
a new
ignore my leg,
race.
huh?
Modnar?
Modnar? The Kremlin? Those names are familiar, but...
Our goal is to snatch all of the world's
Modnar?
leaders and then achieve total control of human thought and worldwide racial unification.
You're insane. Humanity won't be so easily dominated. You underestimate the strength of the human spirit.
I think not. In the same way as the Nazis, our strategy begins with the overpowering of the spirit of the people. We will strike at you humans' weakest point, the most primitive part of your psychological makeup, your suspiciousness and fear. By provoking suspicion and mistrust throughout the populace, we will destroy that fragile fabric which holds your society together, that of trust. Fear is you humans' weak point. It is the primitive part of your brains that binds you forever to your animal ancestors and makes you vulnerable. By stimulating that part of your atavistic instincts, our plan can succeed magnificently.
Gillian, at this rate they'll kill us all. You've got to get out alive. You're a junker. Just what have you have in mind? I've got a big fireworks show ready for him. Better that than get snatched.
What? You're gonna blow yourself up? No, we're better off fighting together.
Hey, it won't work. I'm hit in the thigh. Ow, oh, damn. A bounty hunter can't do anything with a leg wound like this. I might as well have been shot in the head.
There must be some way out of here.
Hey, I wasn't doing this job just for fun. I stayed ready for situations like this. I've always been prepared to go out with a bang.
You guys? We're just gonna kill you.
So it'll be an off-season show.
No, I can't let you.
My belt's packed with TNT-PX. You know, that really strong stuff they use in the mines on Mars. One push, and this whole hospital will go. No trouble at all. No time to sit around thinking, Junker boy. Go! What are you doing? Get your butt moving, you fool! Get out through this air shaft. I've got a powerful strobe on me. Its flash will screw up their sensors long enough for you to get out. Now, you with me? Fireworks are better from a distance anyway, Gillian.
Are you two finished chatting? Then I think it's
They
time
literally,
for
he
you
literally just let him.
to die. We're quite busy, you know.
You ready? When I give the signal, break into the air shaft and run. And don't forget your blaster.
Metal, stay with me.
Yes, sir.
Random.
Gillian, Doesn't look like I'm gonna have a chance to call in that debt you owe me.
Don't worry. I'll pay it back to the Snatchers with interest.
All right, go! Run, Gillian!
Yeah, we got some Kojima social commentary as it took a little while, but it got here, and yeah, he doesn't hold back.
Metal, are you okay?
Manuel almost gets it right.
Metal, something broken?
Oh my god, it's Crazy Frog.
What happened?
Random blew himself up after getting us into this air shaft.
Random.
Gillian, that explosion should have taken all of Queen's Hospital with it.
The thick walls of this duct must have shielded us from enough of the blast. If it wasn't for Random, we wouldn't have made it. Oh, Random.
Oh, Random. Always blowing himself up.
Now, we must get back to Junker headquarters as quickly as possible. Harry and Mika are in danger.
You're right. And I have to keep my promise to Random. But first, we have to figure out how to get out of here.
I can't see a thing. What should we do?
Yeah, this is the other Kojima-ism. There are going to be a lot of fucking cutscenes now. And Manuel wins the quiz. It is Sting in June. If you want to, Google image search how Sting looks in June, and you'll notice quite a remarkable resemblance. Oh yes, we need to turn the light on. Mel, turn your light on, will you? What a lad. I was waiting for you to ask. Let there be light! Well, let's try moving forward. There could be Snatchers waiting for us. Please use extreme caution. How far does this thing go? Gillian, are you sure that this thing has an exit? We can't go back. That way is blocked by debris. There are some kind of scratches here. Scratches? Check them out. It looks like it continues for some distance. It's constructed quite well. There are signs that construction to reinforce it has been carried out. Poke the metal piece. What's this? There's some sand spilled here. How did this get here? Alright, now analyzing this sand. Iron particles, high quantities of phosphorus. This type of sand is particular to the M district in Neo Kobe. The M district, eh? Around the old factory, right? What does that mean? This scratch was caused by the scraping of a very hard, claw-like object of some kind. A snatcher? Maybe they were using this as some kind of shortcut or back route. Mel, are you picking up any movement? I'm afraid the shock of that explosion has damaged my motion detector. So is it working or not? I'm getting partial readings, but they are not as sensitive as they should be. If we get attacked in a narrow area like this, we've had it. Please pray for us, Gillian. We've got to make it out of here. Damn, so I have to depend on my own eyes and ears, do I? I can hear the sound of water flowing. Then we must be close to a way out of this thing. There is probably a sewer or something nearby. My light isn't powerful enough. It appears to continue on. I can hear water. It can't be a dead end. Reinforcing bars formed for level 4 hardness steel alloy has been installed. It's quite strong. And that's what saved us. I guess we should thank them, eh? It seems that this is not just a simple air duct. I like how they kind of... they do actually explain the air duct thing. Because normally, like, it makes no sense why air ducts would be big enough that people could, like, be inside them. Or even they'd be strong enough to hold a person. Because they're obviously not built for that in real life. But in this game, they actually do explain it, which I appreciate that. That seems like the kind of thing that Kojima would actually be annoyed at in films and decide that he was going to give an explanation for it in the game. So props to you. We can probably keep moving forward, but it's likely to be a dead end. Buried alive, eh? Great. Check real careful. There's got to be a way out somewhere. I think we just got to do a few of these a couple of times. It is quite unusual that this particular sand will be present here. It is no doubt brought here by someone. There we go. Achoo! I thought that guy was definitely based on a rock star. Would have guessed Bowie or someone like that. Yeah. He likes his Bowie references, that's for sure. Alright, I will gather and analyze a sample of the air here. Gillian, the results are as I would have expected. Though the concentration is thin, there is definitely Snow 9 present. Snow 9, huh? Is it okay to breathe it? You will be safe at these concentrations. It appears that a Snatcher was dragged through here. A human body would not cause such marks. Maybe that naked Snatcher we saw in the operating room. That is probably correct. An endostructure before the artificial skin was installed seems most likely. The farther we go, the higher the concentration. It must be coming from that direction. Okay. It was kind of look like Billy Idol. Yeah, kind of did. Actually, Billy Idol, I know one film he was in. He was in The Wedding Singer. With Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. But he was playing himself, so... so now we just gotta figure out which option we need to select multiple times. Which is the type of adventure game design that I'm glad have just kind of gone away. Billy Idol released an album called Cyberpunk, so I think that fits. Oh, now we can we advance? Yes, we can, thankfully. There we go. Jeez, this thing just keeps going. In sectors, Gillian, use your blaster. Yeah, it's time for this. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot more of these. We haven't done many of these shooting sections. There's gonna be a few of them ahead now, and I'm not looking forward to it. Okay. Whoa, yeah, it took 3 hits back there. Those insectors must be security for this area, which means that at the end of this duct... I'm not reading any more motion. Let's move on. Don't want to meet up with more of those spiders. Look, a way out. We're saved, Gillian. Mel, don't lay your guard down.
What in the world?
This is part of the tube liner, the city's long-abandoned subway system.
You mean Queen's Hospital and this were connected?
Yes, it would appear that the Snatchers were using this to move from place to place. This would provide them with the perfect way to move about while still avoiding the ultraviolet rays they hate so much. We should have realized this sooner. The city
Yeah, you
is
kinda
crisscrossed
should.
by the tube liners' old lines, and since they are abandoned, the Snatchers could move undetected as well.
Aha! That's how those two we caught a glimpse of at the abandoned factory where Gibson was killed were able to disappear so quickly. They must have used this subway.
That would appear to be correct. The tube liner passes underneath that factory site as well. That would also explain why sand from the factory was in the air duct at the hospital.
So this is the trick they were using to stay out of the sun and avoid being seen while they moved around.
Now we know why it took so long to uncover them.
All right, let's follow the subway. We should be able to get out when we get to the nearest station.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't pet metal. How far does this bloody thing go? We're probably lost. I wonder where we are. Mel, can you see what's up ahead? It appears that the tunnel continues for as far as I can see. That's the area we just passed through. I see nothing out of the ordinary. The only sound is that of our own footsteps. Mel, can you hear any trains approaching? What are you saying, Gillian? The tube liner system has been abandoned for years. We were just there, Gillian. There's nothing unusual about it. I cannot see anything else. Mel, how much further do we have to go to reach the next station? Since I don't know what our exact present location is, I cannot give you an accurate figure. This part of the system didn't have very many stations. We will probably have to walk quite a bit further. His own leg is so short. What part of the city is this? I believe we are probably underneath the MR district. Gillian, what's wrong?
Look, metal, light!
Yes, but this doesn't look like a station.
There's a ladder.
Where do you suppose it leads, Gillian?
I don't have the slightest, but let's climb it and see.
All right. Now climbing the ladder.
And playing Mario 64 again. If they would fix the camera and controls, that game would still be a
We seem to have
masterpiece.
emerged into
It
an
would.
odd place. Wait, this room.
It really would be.
It's Freddie Nielsen's bathroom. He was using this shaft from the bathtub to get down into the subway. So that's how he did that.
Ah, yes. As I recall, after you disposed of Lisa, he somehow entered the apartment without using the regular entrance.
Which he accomplished by using this secret passage into his bathtub.
The bathtub must be of a double construction. The bottom is actually a lid. When they wanted to hide the passage, all they needed to do was fill the tub. And to get in and out, they would just drain the water into another tank.
Jeez. Double bottom bathtubs? Abandoned subways? Snatchers really go out of their way to stay out of the sun.
Okay, Gillian, let's head outside.
Now, I just gave the developers props for explaining why a grown man could be supported in an air duct. I'm going to take those props away because this secret entrance with a trapdoor that leads to the subway is in an apartment on the second floor. Which makes no sense. Unless they made a ladder through the flat underneath. That just reminded me, the only copy I've ever owned of Mario 64 was a botched copy. The game would freeze anytime I loaded up a level, but I could infinite jump and click through walls. Oh my god, that's like a creepypasta cartridge. Yeah, so he wasn't lying in a tub, he climbed out of that thing. Right, so I think we can, but I don't think we need to investigate here. We're gonna go to the living room. We can just look around and see. I don't think there's gonna be anything of note. Chinchu O over at Queen's Hospital had a picture of St. Basil's Cathedral. The chief keeps a picture of the Red Square hidden. How come everybody's such a big Moscow fan these days? What's going on here? Moscow seems to hold some clue to this whole thing, doesn't it? Moscow? Did that guy say something about it? Before the explosion, didn't Chin-Shu-Oh say something about achieving what was meant to be 55 years ago and the depths of the Kremlin? Now that you mention it, this map is from exactly that area, isn't it? Moscow, 55 years ago, the key to understanding the Snatcher no doubt lies there. This has to have some meaning. I don't think they'd paste a 50-year-old map up here just as a decoration. Hell yeah. I don't care about graphics, but N64 games are really ugly, and I was coming for someone who likes PS1 graphics. Yeah, they have kind of like a muddy look. I'm not crazy about. It hasn't aged as well as I think early PS1 has. Right, we are gonna get back to headquarters because we've got to protect Mika and Harry. Walking back would take far too long. We have to find some other way. Aren't there any taxis or anything around here? Why don't we search the area? Look, there's a taxi over there. The cab is for hire. Shall we board it? Let's board it. Alright, let's board a taxi. We've boarded a taxi. Where to, sir? This is a manned cab. I can take you anywhere you want to go. We're on urgent business. Get us to Junker headquarters as quickly as you can. Huh, Junker headquarters, eh? What would you want to go there for? Something going down? We're in a hurry. Is that some kind of a joke, sir? You can't be serious. This is a manned taxi, you know. I can't go to a place like that. Mel, I think we picked a weird taxi. Listen, I'm a junker. Take me to Junker headquarters and do it quickly. I'm afraid not. You're going somewhere else. You want to know where that is? Where? Straight to hell! We just blast him right in the face.
Is he dead?
He's junk now. Stubborn one, wasn't he?
Jeez. He made it through that explosion and was waiting for us out here. If those things ever get control of the city, there's no way we'll ever get it back. We've got to stop them before that.
And to do that, we have to prevent the chief from getting to the Kyoto summit.
I know. And I have to pay back my debt to Random.
Let's use this taxi to get back to Junker headquarters.
I planned on it. I just hope Mika and Harry are safe.
Yeah, the messed up part was facing the window, yeah. We will arrive at Junker headquarters. I certainly hope Mika and Harry are safe. Oh, and this music. Before we enter Junker headquarters, actually, hang on, let's do this first. Because we're coming up on an important bit. Alright, Metal, this is it. The final showdown. You ready? Let's go. Now entering headquarters. This is the lobby. Ooh, that doesn't look good. What? The shutter on the reception booth is closed. This is the protective shutter for the reception booth. It is automatically lowered in times of danger. The surface of the shutter shows evidence of having been struck by fire from an energy weapon. I read motion. Something is in the booth. Gillian, we have to open this somehow. It functions as a protective shield, so there is no way to see inside the booth with it like this. It appears that something attacked this place. The shutter on the reception booth is closed. Is Mika still in the booth? There are a few holes in the shield, no doubt caused by a blaster or cannon fire. Cannon? Then it's Snatchers who did this. It's been locked from the inside. The only way to open it is from inside the booth. Can't this be opened from the outside? If it has an emergency external connection port, then it can be opened from the outside. Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? So let's investigate. Metal, find its external connection jack. Here we are. I have located an emergency external connection port on the side of the booth. With this, I should be able to open the shutter. Well, do it then. Okay. Oh, why is it not doing this now? There we go. Finally. Now plugging into the emergency external connection port. Yeah, that's true. That's possible. Releasing lock mechanism. Now opening the shutter.
All right, I'm going to open it, but please use extreme caution. Anything could be inside.
Oh dear.
Mika! Mika, are you all right? Metal, how is she?
Her pulse is normal. The only external injuries are to her forehead, and they are not serious. There's been no significant blood loss.
Mika, come on, snap out of it. It's me, Gillian.
Gillian? Gillian.
Mika, what happened?
Gillian, the chief. The chief is a Snatcher.
So he's finally shown his true colors.
Harry's...
What's happened to Harry?
Harry put me in the pod and sealed the main door. He locked the Snatcher in.
That was smart. Not even a Snatcher can get through this shield.
So where's Harry?
He said keep the door sealed no matter what happens in there. And then he went in. Gillian, please help him.
Harry! Mika, open the
Harry.
door. I'm going in.
Should have to wait 30 minutes for calling.
Metal, we're going in. Be careful.
Nice
That
callback.
Snatcher could be hiding anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Very nice
Please
callback.
be careful. The chief is very cunning. Don't let your guard down.
Don't worry, I'll watch myself in there.
He's very cunning. You could almost say he's Cunningham. I'm sorry. What is this? Someone is down. The hat! Harry!
Harry!
Oh, Gillian. Is that you? I'm getting old. Just look at me.
What happened?
I saw the chief messing with your turbocycle. And that weird picture in his office.
Metal, how is he? Metal!
I do not wish to say.
Really that bad, huh?
Gillian, when I confronted him about what I saw, he showed me what he really was. I was barely able to even scratch him.
That's enough, Harry. I understand. Metal, is there anything we can do for him?
Gillian, I'm sorry.
Harry, you'll be okay. It doesn't look like you're hurting too bad. This'll work out perfect. You always were working too hard anyway. Why don't you take a nice long vacation somewhere and rest up?
Yeah, sure. Nice try, Gillian, but it's my body. I know I ain't gonna make it. You were a good kid, Gillian.
Harry!
I don't know how to say this right, but I've always had a special feeling about you. I've always had trouble talking to people since I was little, like my father. What I can remember of him.
Pulse and blood pressure falling.
Harry, hang in there. You and I were gonna go out and tie one on, remember?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You, me, and Jean, the three of us.
But John is...
Metal, quiet!
Gillian, I've lived my life alone. I didn't know my parents or family. Always so stubborn, glued to my research. I never really trusted anybody. That was a mistake.
Blood pressure continuing to fall.
Harry?
After Jean died, I felt it. Human warmth, companionship.
I know what you mean.
Gillian, I just wanted to get along with everybody. I don't need no Nobel Prize. For 50 years, I've been searching, trying to find something I lost. Looks like I'll never find it now.
Gillian, he's about...
Looks like I've been talking too much. It's up to you now, Gillian. I'm finished. You won't forget this, old grouch, will you?
Harry!
Gillian, you've got to believe in yourself. You're the last junker.
Harry! Harry!
Pulse 0. Pupils are dilated.
Cunningham! No! Snatcher! I'll get you for this!
We have no time for grieving. That Snatcher is still hiding somewhere here in headquarters.
Metal, listen to me. If that Snatcher gets me, you've got to take Mika and run. Then you've got to blow up Junker headquarters. Blow it sky high! You understand me?
Yes, sir. I just hope it doesn't come to that. So, where should we start our search?
Yeah, chat is losing their collective mind over that, and that's a pretty affecting scene, I think. Well, it's the chief's office, so we are gonna look around. I am actually going to save though. So we're going to overwrite that because we haven't saved for a while and I'm not redoing this whole thing again. Alright, continue the game, please. Okay, so do we actually have to check somewhere else first? Let me have a look. Right, so okay, so we have to go to each room at least once. That's what I'm taking from this. But we don't have to search them, so we should be able to just... just need to go to them. Ocean Man, take him by the hand. Oh my god. Oh, right. Yeah, there was. I noticed that people were more upset by Harry there, but that makes sense. It was hard not to be, hard not to love Harry. And it's different because like they're both heroic sacrifices, but it just felt like random in a different way. Knew what he was getting into. I don't know. I suppose Harry did too. Harry's just like a big teddy bear. Alright, so now can we go into the chief's office? There's something on the desk. There's some kind of stain on the desktop. There was no stain like this a few moments ago. Got to do it a couple times. This stain was not there before. It's blood! It appears that blood is dripping from the ceiling. Well, let's look up at the ceiling then. Why don't we investigate the ceiling? Let it crane our head up 45 degrees. Look who it is. It's that fuckface.
The lighting control system has been destroyed. Distance to motion readings increasing.
Is he trying to run?
Motion readings have vanished.
You got past me this time, Snatcher.
Headquarters emergency lighting has been activated.
Can we find him again?
We should go after him immediately.
We'll
Yeah, we
find
should.
him. We know he's somewhere inside headquarters.
The Snatcher has been wounded. We should
Hello,
look for
sweet
traces of blood.
Jorg. 76. PC Gamer does Cyberpunk. Indeed. This is proper Cyberpunk. Let's go to the hallway. Actually, we didn't really properly look here, did we? Just wait here a little longer, Harry. I'll get the bastard for you. Do we now have to look everywhere again? Yes, we do. We have to look everywhere again. They applied this cool filter to every room, and we're gonna see it, damn it. This area does not spark joy. Yeah, let's throw it away. Where else did we go everywhere? Shooting range. I think to the shooting range. Right, so we've been in engineering. Where haven't we been? Computer room, I think. There we go. I wasn't paying enough attention. Can we now? Because we need to go to the front, I think. Yes, there we go. But the main door was sealed off when we came in. We've checked and double-checked everywhere else. Let's go take a look.
The main door has been opened. Did Mika open it?
Wait, Mika's not in the pod. What happened?
The lighting has been disconnected.
Oh dear.
Don't move, Seed.
Cunningham, is that you?
I read motion. He is definitely in here.
Where are you? Show yourself.
I'm right here. I don't need to run or hide from you.
Mika!
Alright, give us half an hour.
Move. It's a trap.
A hostage? You cowardly scum! Mika, why did you open the entrance?
I don't know. I was really scared. I mean, the emergency light's coming on so suddenly.
Seed, go ahead and shoot. But you'd better be a pretty good shot, or this kid goes home in a bag.
Shoot, Gillian. Kill this thing. Don't worry about me.
Mika!
What are you going to do?
I have you now, Junker.
Alright, it's time for some more shooting. We're gonna do a couple of these. So now we can obviously only shoot him when he's in one of the corners. Like how she's kind of popping in and out. Oh, damn it. Did Ashley lose then? There we go. We got to see the game over screen. Oh, well. We're gonna have to redo a few of these because honestly, some of them are pretty damn hard. Oh yeah, she had to take a couple of hits, but there we go.
The Snatcher's functions have been terminated.
Mika, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Harry? I got him. Random? Sorry it took so long, but this ought to make us even.
Junker? You may have stopped me, but it's not over yet.
Gillian, this is just residual energy feedback. Its power levels are dropping rapidly.
Queen's Hospital was nothing more than a maintenance facility. We have comrades operating throughout the city, more than you can imagine. Now our plans will move into Phase 2. For that, we will enlist the help of Professor Lorraine. Your existence is meaningless, as long as you don't get your memory back. Good luck, Junker.
My memory? Comrades? Professor Lorraine?
Harry! Why? Please tell me. Why do so many good people have to die?
Mika!
This is all wrong.
Mika, don't worry. I won't let anybody else die. I've made a promise to Harry and Random. But the city is still full of Snatchers. This fight is just beginning.
This is the Gillian heartthrob we remember, yeah. He's elevating himself.
Gillian, I have an urgent video call from Jamie. I'll connect you.
Oh, Jamie, eh?
Gillian, I've got my memory back. I remember everything.
Your memory? So what about us, Jamie? Who are we?
Gillian, it's terrible. What we've done.
Jamie, what's wrong?
I can't tell you something like this over the video phone. I would have been better off never remembering.
Okay, Jamie, calm down. I'll head out right now. Where are you? Is it snowing?
I'm sorry, Gillian. I can't tell you. They've taken our boy hostage.
Our boy? Who?
Professor Modner is here too.
Jamie, what are you talking about?
I'm so sorry.
Snatcher!
Gillian!
We have Professor Lorraine. We only require her cooperation for a short period here at the Kremlin. So for now, I suggest you avoid doing anything foolish, Professor Seed.
Yeah, now shit is really getting real. Yeah. And that is the end of Act 2. In the original version of this game, that was the end of the game. This is literally where the original version of the game ended, on a cliffhanger. And the Act 3 that we are about to start is considerably shorter. So we are going to finish it today. Hopefully, if I can do the shooting sections, which are horrendous, if I remember correctly. But that act was only added later. I think it might have been added with this version, but I'm not 100% sure. But before we do that, I'm going to take a little break here for just a minute. I'm going to fill up my water again, and I'm going to go to the loo. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then this break hasn't even happened. It's just switched right into Act 3. So please stay tuned, and we'll get started in just a minute. So I've got my water filled up. I've got a moo-free bunny comb, a vegan honeycomb chocolate bar, and we're about to end the Snatcher menace once and for all. So this is a much shorter chapter than the previous two. And yes, they did leave it there. They really did. Ended on that cliffhanger. We're absolutely everything up in the air. The only thing we've really learned is that the boss was a Snatcher. But we are going to learn more stuff now.
Of this year's Kyoto Summit just 3 hours away, the delegates from the participating countries are beginning to arrive at the conference center.
Oh, lint balls are so good.
International opinion, carried out just last week, shows that the vast majority of respondents favor a complete quarantine of Neo Kobe as a means to combat the risk of the Snatcher menace.
Now that the Chief's death has been confirmed, it won't be long before they strip us of our Junker authorization.
They will be deciding how to handle Neo Kobe at the summit in just 3 hours.
There are rumors that they're going to use nukes on the city to make sure the Snatchers are wiped out.
That's ridiculous. Come on, this is the 21st century.
That may not be as improbable as it seems. The world's leaders are extremely concerned about the Snatcher problem.
The Chief was going to calm this hysteria in his speech at the summit, but that'll never happen now.
3 months ago, government pressure on Junker operations increased dramatically. Gillian's transfer here was really our last chance.
Our own chief was snatched. It's not too surprising they don't want to trust us anymore.
I've heard that the Army and FBI are going to take over operations now.
That's correct. That too will be officially decided in 3 hours' time.
3 hours, eh? Is there any way we can find their hideout in that time?
If we don't, we and everybody else in this city are finished.
As far as they're concerned, we're just like a cancerous tumor that has to be cut out.
We have to hit the Snatchers' headquarters before then.
Gillian, can you do it?
If we only knew where it was, I should be able to manage something.
Hitting their outposts like Queen's Hospital won't do any good. We have to find their main nerve center.
What about the memory of that Snatcher who was impersonating the chief?
Just like the others, it was completely blanked. It's a form of self-destruct mechanism that they use.
Wait a minute. Mental. What about tracing that video phone call from Jamie?
It was no good. The call didn't last long enough. Still, it definitely did come from within the city.
Damn. Where are they hiding?
Gillian, can't you remember anything at all? Didn't Jamie say something that implied you were somehow connected to the Snatchers?
Nothing. I can't remember a damn thing. Metal, I want you to tell me everything you know about me. Why was I sent to Junker headquarters? Where did I come from?
Gillian...
Metal, the chief's dead. Tell me everything you know about me.
Time to find out some shit.
Well, you see...
Metal!
Alright. With the chief gone, you are the highest-ranking officer here.
You knew all along?
Of course.
Where were we rescued from?
3 years ago, you and Jamie were taken into protective custody in the Siberian Neutral Zone by the 17th Siberian Investigative Force. More precisely, you were discovered in cryogenic sleep pods in an underground bunker near Moscow.
Cryogenic sleep pods? You mean they were frozen?
This is a photograph of the bunker. There is no record of when you were placed there. In addition, the third pod was empty at the time you were discovered.
There were 3 pods?
You were revived and taken into custody by the army. Apparently, as a result of the extended sleep, both of you suffered from complete amnesia. However, another theory suggests your memories may have been intentionally erased. This is the only piece of evidence found at the site.
That's Harry's picture, from when he was a kid.
That's correct. Harry is Gillian and Jamie's son. It's been confirmed by DNA tests.
Harry? Harry was my son?
Using the information gained from the photo, it was established that you are Gillian Seed, and your wife, Jamie Lorraine. Both of you are American citizens, born in the late 1960s.
The 1960s?
In addition, Both of you vanished without a trace in 1989. There is no other information available about you after that.
1989?
Yes. You come from a world that's been gone for 50 years.
But what does that have to do with the Snatchers?
When the 17th Special Investigative Force was bringing the two of you out, there was an accident. Though the two of you were all right, most of the 17th was killed. One of them was a Snatcher. Of course, before their departure, they all underwent thorough examinations. So, if one of them was snatched...
It had to be somewhere in Siberia, right?
That's correct. And in order to attempt to determine the origin of the Snatcher, as well as your true identities, you were assigned to Junker headquarters. The hope was that exposure to the Snatchers would help you regain your memories.
Moscow? 50 years ago?
Almost everyone who was in Moscow at the time was killed in the catastrophe.
So Gillian and Jamie are the only living witnesses?
Harry. Harry was my son. Did he know?
No. It was highly classified information. He was never told.
I was never able to do anything for him.
Wait a minute, Gillian. Didn't Jamie say something about taking a boy hostage?
That's right. They must know about Harry and are using him to threaten her.
We have to find their headquarters quickly.
We've only got 3 hours.
Gillian, let's think this all through again. We may get some kind of a hint out of it.
You're right. There may be some clue in the way they're operating.
All right. Let's go over what we know about them.
Yeah, so this chapter, this act rather, pretty clearly truncated. Because a lot of the answers to the questions the rest of the game has been posing are going to be answered kind of like this, and I feel like it was probably meant to be answered with a little more, I don't know, give it a little more air. But yeah, we just found out a really horrible, tragic thing about Harry's past that he did not find out before he died. So now we're going to do some detective work. So yeah, what is it? Is it ultraviolet? Yes. That's correct. Their weak point is their defective artificial skin. Long-term exposure to ultraviolet rays causes mutations in the melanocytes in the stratum basal of their skin, which become cancerous. Specifically, long ultraviolet rays in the 250 to 350 nanometer range is responsible for causing the cancer. Yeah, do some dad bonding stuff. That's right, and that's the reason why they're so limited as to why they can be out. They only come out at night in the middle of the winter and wear sunscreen even then. That's the method that Sean used to figure out what the Snatchers were up to. How ironic. It turns out that the destruction of the ozone layer actually had a benefit for us humans. Turns out. That's right. Now, what method were they using to move and be able to avoid ultraviolet rays and sunlight at the same time? They used the underpass. It is basically just catching you up to make sure that you definitely know what the hell is going on. That's how they were able to move around without being noticed. Niels' apartment, the old factory, Queen's Hospital, all of these hideouts were connected by the tube liner. So maybe there's a tunnel under the main base as well. There's a good chance of that. Next, what phenomenon was always observed at any location where Snatchers appeared, including their underground tunnels? Sneezing. That's right, and what was the cause of the sneezing? You're correct, the sneezing was caused by the presence of the allergen Snow 9. Snow 9 is also a reference, but it is actually a literary reference, kinda. The name is, anyway. So it's a reference to the Kurt Vonnegut book, Cat's Cradle. Is it Cat's Cradle? I'm pretty sure it's Cat's Cradle, but there is an element in that book called Ice 9. It really doesn't have anything to do with Snow 9, but Kojima wants you to know that he's read a book, as usual. Snow 9 is an artificial form of pollen developed by the military, and its presence is limited to certain regions. They were using it to interfere with radio transmissions and keep people away. They probably were producing it intentionally themselves. The only regions of the city where Snow 9 is still present are areas around the Ina River. It has been cleared out of other areas because of the danger it presents. So that means that their base must be somewhere near the Ina River, right? That is a fair conclusion. They are probably somewhere near the Ina River, protected by the Snow 9. Accessible to the tube liner and near the Ina River. And we must not forget the 3 photographs we found the Snatchers with. All of them were related to the Soviet Union before the catastrophe. Also remember that this game was written before the wall came down. It was 1988, baby. There was still a couple of years left of the Soviet Union. The map on the wall of Nielsen's apartment. The picture of the temple in the director's office at Queen's Hospital. The photo of Red Square hidden in the chief's office. Why do the Snatchers keep pictures and memorabilia like this? Maybe they're homesick. Maybe that's where they came from. Homesick? Get serious, Mika. They're robots, you know? Let's analyze this a little closer. What city is related to all these 3 pictures? Moscow. That's correct. It's Moscow. Moscow seems to be where they come from. That must be the basis of their programming. You might be right. Just as people have a hometown that's dear to them, their creators may have put their hometown into their programming. They use very advanced artificial intelligence systems, so they may have needed something like that to maintain their emotional balance. Yeah, they were born out of nothing, but they needed to give them some kind of image as an emotional base. So Moscow is their creator and their home. And the place they found Jamie and I. Well.
In other words, this homing instinct thing of theirs has led them to set up their headquarters in some place that reminds them of home, or their creator.
What part of this city is like Moscow?
Moscow's really cold, right? They get a lot of snow, don't they?
Snow?
No snow has been recorded in Neo Kobe in several years.
Well, then that's not
Carmen San Diego.
Wait, what about that pollen? That crystal bioengineered stuff, Snow 9?
Now that you mention it, wasn't it snowing on Jamie's video phone call?
That's right. Their hideout has to be somewhere close to the Ina River.
The Ina River flows for miles around here, Gillian. We could never search it all in time.
Gillian, let's look at a map of the areas investigated so far. This is an enlarged view of the southwest portion of the city around the Ina River. This blue area is that in which Snow 9 is present. Now I'll superimpose a chart of the abandoned tube liner tunnels. From this we can establish those areas with Snow 9, which are accessible by subway tunnel.
Damn. Nice try, but it's still too large. We could never cover it in 3 hours.
Don't give up so fast, Gillian. What about that image of home thing we were talking about? Maybe there's some kind of geographic similarity. Maybe the same view can be seen or something.
Fucking Mika bringing it.
A map of Moscow alongside.
What's this?
Look, the rivers are exactly the same shape.
This is the Moscow River over here.
It looks like we're on the right track, Metal. Show us the location that Jamie and I were picked up from.
All right, right here.
Metal, before the catastrophe, what was at this location?
The headquarters for the entire Soviet Union, the Kremlin.
The Kremlin? That Snatcher said something about taking Jamie to their Kremlin.
Metal, what spot in Neo Kobe would match up with the location of Moscow's Kremlin?
Calculating. This is the spot. It's presently occupied by an old church. It's rather large, but reports indicate it's been abandoned for nearly 20 years.
Ooh.
And it's right in the middle of the Snow 9 and subway area.
That's it! That's their headquarters, their new Kremlin.
Gillian, let's go!
Let's go indeed.
Wait, Gillian. I want to go with you.
Sorry, Mika.
Hey, I'm a junker too, you know.
I know, and you're a great one at that.
So take me with you then.
You head to the summit to warn the delegates. They haven't given up, you know.
The summit's in Kyoto. I'm not going to be the only one to run.
You've got to convince them not to use nukes on Neo Kobe.
We found their hideout. There's no need now to sink the whole island.
Yes, but...
It's a tough job. Can you do it?
Okay, Gillian. I'll do what I can.
Thanks. Thank you, Mika.
Don't say it, okay?
Let's go, Gillian.
Gillian?
Yes? What's wrong?
Take me with you.
Dinner
No.
sometime?
Dinner?
Yeah, you know, dinner.
Mika.
Not interested. I thought it would be nice, you know, to kick back, relax. It's Christmas after all.
Christmas, huh? I'll be back by then.
Gillian, we have to hurry.
That's a promise, right? I heard you.
Yeah, okay. But I gotta go to church first.
I'll see you soon then.
Okay, Metal, let's go.
It's like corny ass shit that I want in my Hideo Kojima games. We got a green turbo cycle this time. I'm gonna save. So we're now gonna enter and we're gonna go. We can only go one place.
Input the map data on the Kremlin's locations. Lift off.
Let's go. Make it so. I think, to be fair, what I do like about that scene,
Now gaining
sorry,
altitude.
is that it's more about her
Jamie,
needing confirmation that he's not gonna die.
Gillian, please keep in mind that we're working with a strict time limit.
50-year debt in 3 hours.
So it's her not saying, I want to go out with you, so much as she's saying,
To be specific,
tell me you're not going
enter
to
the
die.
Snow 9 region.
And I think,
Please
I
put
like
on
that.
your breathing filter. Direct inhalation is dangerous.
All right.
Radio transmissions will also be impossible from this point on. Understood? Now descending. Conversion to hover configuration complete. Gillian, we've arrived.
Well, it's time. We're at the church. Wow, now I know why they call it their Kremlin. Ooh, pardon me, I am a bit burpy today. We're gonna look. It appears to be snow, but it is actually Snow 9. Try to avoid inhaling any of it directly. It's surrounded by a large grove of tall cedar trees. It is likely to keep just about anybody away. Given the season, a few Christmas lights would really liven up the scene. The building is about 50 years old, but appears very well maintained. So where's the entrance? On the front side of the building. This is definitely Snow 9. A sensor scan reveals that the tube liner tunnel passes directly underneath this area. Well, that's no surprise. Looks like we got the right place. I'm not reading anything at all. The only sound is that of the wind. Lying next to Kreml, Gillian is the Matthias Rust of Neo Kobe. Yeah, good reference. Good reference.
All right, now opening the door.
What's
Hats
wrong?
off.
Won't open?
I've scanned it, and it's not locked. It is probably rusted into place.
Not surprising. After all, our friends always go in and out through the basement.
Let's push it together.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
We're at the church. This is some good, creepy music. It would appear to be some kind of a chapel for the Snatchers. Are you telling me those things pray? To whom? No doubt their creator. That portrait on the wall is probably a representation of him. This person is no doubt the one the Snatchers worship as their creator. This guy, isn't that random? One moment, I'll compare the picture with my data on random. While the facial bone structure of the individual in the portrait is nearly identical to that of random, a positive identification is impossible as the picture is not a photograph. That just looks too much like him to be a coincidence. Something is written on the painting. The creator, Modnar. So this is Professor Modnar, the one the Snatcher was talking about, eh? It appears to be a portrait of that person. Evil geniuses always have the haircut. Yeah, that is the haircut of, what's his name, in Resident Evil 0. Is it William Marcus? I think it's William Marcus. He's got the same Castlevania haircut. This music is so good. It is all very organized, almost inhumanly so. There's another room further back. There are a number of scratches on the surface. They were almost certainly caused by the Snatchers. Just us and the wind, that's all I can hear. So have they already left for the summit? I'm not picking up any large movement signals. Let's move forward. Yeah, it's Marcus. I'm so sure it's Marcus. All of them got really generic names. Look at this. Snatchers! Look at them all! I'm not picking up any energy readings. They're all deactivated in some kind of suspension mode. So this is their warehouse, eh? There must be a few hundred of them here. They continue all the way back. Still, this doesn't look like a factory to me. We're actually going to save here because at some point stuff's going to go down. I don't want to risk getting caught out. So we're going to look around. These are endostructures which have yet to have the artificial skin installed. The bone sizing devices and skull slits are all still set to the smallest sizes. So their victims haven't been chosen yet. They're all just waiting their turn. None of these Snatchers appear damaged. All they need is their energy packs. The gender units have yet to be installed, however. There seems to be a number of containers stacked up in the back of the room. What about the size of these containers? The volume of these containers would be just perfect for shipping one of these Snatchers. This is no doubt how they got here. I do not see any tools or equipment for maintaining anything in the area. This room would appear to be just a storage area. There is some kind of label here. 23rd Siberian Investigative Force. Siberian Investigative Force? It would appear that these Snatchers were brought to Neo Kobe from the Siberian Neutral Zone. It seems that the investigative forces have been responsible for shipping the Snatchers. In other words, the investigative forces have been snatched, just like the one they found us. I see. So the Siberian investigative forces bring the Snatchers out of Siberia and into storage here. I think you're right, Metal, and then the Snatchers just wait here in storage to be reactivated and adjusted after their victims are selected. A rather efficient system. I wonder where the actual snatching takes place. The back part of this room may hold the answer to that question. I'm not picking up any large movement signals. Are you ready, Gillian? Now heading to the room further back. Those ones can't come alive. They don't have any energy packs installed, so we're fine for those. Here we go. Now these ones on the other hand. Also more good creepy music. The Snatcher's culturing room. The mechanism is operating. Gillian, there are Snatchers with their artificial skin already installed here. Gonna look at the process.
This is where they fuse the artificial skin onto the Snatcher's endostructure. First, they adjust the size of the still skinless Snatcher to the size of the individual who is to be snatched. The Snatcher's overall shape and size can be adjusted by expansion or contraction of sizing rods. Their sex is controlled by gender units, which are installed at this point. Then, the face is modified to match the intended victim by adjusting
Gender
the size
units.
of the upper and lower jaw, cheekbones, temporal bones, and tooth alignment.
Just like Gibson said, that means there are limits to the size of the people that they can snatch.
That's right. The limits of the mechanism mean that they can't snatch children, the elderly, or people who are very tall or heavy. And this is where the artificial muscles attach.
Is it organic?
No. It appears to be coated with a type of plastic gel capable of mechanical response. Like human muscles, it creates mechanical energy through chemical reactions. And this is where the artificial skin is attached. In order to prevent the synthetic cells, developed using biotechnological protein design techniques, from rejecting the inorganic material below, they attach it gradually over a number of days.
And this is the stuff that gets cancer if they stay out in the sun too long.
Finally, they attach body and scalp hair. The process involves transplant of synthetic hair follicles as well, so the hair will grow back if it's lost.
What about scars or birthmarks?
It would appear that they make those adjustments at this point in the process, as they would for wrinkles to simulate age.
Right. Let's investigate. These cylinders are used to culture the Snatcher's artificial skin, endostructures, or submerged within them. It appears that weak ultraviolet rays are being projected from above. This is really advanced, way beyond anything we saw at Queen's Hospital. The whole area is protected as a clean room. There is a door at the far end of the room. The power is on. Look at this, Gillian. The data of the people to be snatched have all been neatly processed. Oh, we're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it. These terminals must all be connected to a host computer which monitors conditions inside each of the cylinders. There is no sound except for the soft bubbling of the liquid in the cylinders. This is the data which they use to generate the artificial skin with. These units are nearly ready to perform a complete snatch. So once again, we've got to find out the one thing we've got to select twice.
So this is where the whole thing begins. The endostructures arrive here from the Kremlin. Then they convert them into copies of their victims. And finally, they head out into the city using the old subway system.
With artificial skin maintenance being handled at Queen's Hospital.
But who's behind all this?
Gillian, look at this. There are some finished snatchers over here.
There we go.
Get a load of this. The U.S. President, the Prime Ministers of Japan, and the U.K.
Gillian, you're in here too.
Figures. They were looking to snatch every VIP at the summit.
And the last junker, you. It definitely looks like they plan on moving out beyond Neo-Kobe.
If they were to snatch every major world leader, they'd practically be able to control the planet. Still, that's odd. With their flawed skin, pulling something off like that would really be difficult.
Chin said they had found the key to developing a perfect artificial skin. Maybe they've already produced it.
No idea. But the number of snatchers here makes it clear that they're up to something new.
Gillian, this is definitely their nest. We should destroy everything.
Not yet. Not until we found Jamie. Metal, how much time do we have left?
The summit should have begun by now. We don't have much time. And once our legal privileges are suspended, I won't be able to help. In fact, I'll be forced to restrain you.
I know. If the military wants to avoid nukes and goes for a surgical strike on this facility, what would they likely use?
Probably a phased particle beam from one of the attack satellites.
A phased particle beam, huh? That'll wipe this complex right off the map.
Everything, including the soil, will simply evaporate. The attack will leave just a large crater.
Metal, can you convince them to give me another hour? Even 30 minutes will help.
Understood. I'll try my best.
And I'll try to find and rescue Jamie in that time.
I Can't transmit here due to interference from the Snow 9. I'll have to leave the area and then send the message.
All right, do it, Metal.
Gillian, don't forget. 30 minutes. You must get out before then.
I understand.
Gillian, I'm sorry I couldn't help you better.
Don't worry about it. I'll be able to move faster by myself anyway. 30 minutes should be plenty. Go, Metal!
Yes, sir. Don't forget, 30 minutes.
Right, Metal is off.
30 minutes? Oh, this is gonna be tight. That room's the only place left to check. Let's take a look.
Right. It is time for this fucking shit. I hate this, 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 I hate this so much. Oh fuck, yeah, no, better, yeah. Right. Oh god, it's not registering. Because I can't use, for some reason it won't let me use the, oh no, we're dead. It won't let me use the, yeah, this is the difficulty just goes off the rails here. I'm gonna see actually, with the controllers, hang on a second. If there is any way that I can actually set this. No, I won't be able to do that, will I? God damn it. Oh, yeah, this is very unnecessary. This is like, we need gameplay. So yeah, we're gonna do, I remember having to do this a fair few times. Oh no, ready to hit. Brilliant. It's like, it's a little bit fiddly because I have to do it with the D-pad, and it just like sort of half the time recognizes where I want it to go. And up until now that's been fine, but now it requires you to be very fast about it. And if you don't get it right the first time, you basically you're screwed. It's very long. It's way too long. It doesn't need to be this long. It's too long. I hate this. I hate this. This is, I would say, absolutely the worst part of this game. Of course. I mean, you've seen, if you watched the previous episodes, you know that I'm pretty good at this. Like, every single other time, I've done them almost flawlessly. And now I'm struggling so much. Can you use save states? Annoyingly enough, you can't. This doesn't actually allow for save states. which is, yeah, it's incredibly annoying. It's like... Now, you do want to remember here that this game was developed to be played with a light gun, and that's why it's like this. I'm gonna have a look. I'm just gonna see if there's... Oh god, it's actually hurting my hand. I'm gonna see if maybe I can actually... If I can reset this too. I'm gonna try, hopefully, I've just reconfigured the controls. Let's see if I can use this on... because it will help so much if I don't have to use the D-pad. Oh my god, thank you. I'm still gonna get bored on it. I'm just gonna, but why even like not blast at any given time? I'm just gonna start blasting. Okay, try it again. Yeah, it's so unforgiving. It is. This is where they were trying to get you to play with the light gun. That is what is happening here. Let's try this again. Oh my god, I am pressing! It's just like, and it's like weirdly unresponsive sometimes, like particularly for the corners. And the margin of error you have is teeny tiny. Yeah. And it's like, once you lose one, that's basically it. I should have just had, like, I should have stopped the stream like half an hour ago and should have just done this on its own stream, but it's so frustrating. god. In the corner! It's in the corner! Oh my god, it's so annoying when they jump up in the corner. It's like, it will only like sort of half... Again, it's so frustrating. Even with the analog stick, it only sort of half registers the corner ones. This is so annoying to me. Like here, I am definitely pushing it up into the corner, and it's just not. It isn't. Nah, it's just. This is just. I'm gonna try something. I believe that this game does have, or this emulator that I'm using actually has, yeah, death sound from Gillian here. I believe this game actually does have like an emulation, and I think I can do that with my cursor. So how about we try that? But if you can do that, you have to restart the game. So what was the latest one we did? That was this one. So we're gonna say, oh no, oh, god damn it. Right, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's just been a bit of a jump cut. That is because I've been trying to beat this battle for about half an hour now. Have not managed it. I've decided to cut all of that out. I've tried to get this to work. I can't beat this thing. I would have to sit here all night to try to do it. The fact is that this is the last battle of the game. It is literally this, then there's another battle, and then it's the ending. I know this is not very climactic. This is very anticlimactic, and I'm very sorry. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to show you. I'm just going to show you the end of this game. This really sucks. I wish I didn't have to do this, but it is so hard. I mentioned this while I was playing as well. The point is this: they really want you. They really do want you to play this with a light gun. I don't have a light gun. I have a D-pad that is so not meant for it. So I'm going to switch this over to another. This is by Nintendo Complete, who posted this in July. And I'm gonna now switch over I'm just gonna add us another capture, and then we're just gonna. I hate having to do this, and I'm very sorry. This is not very. It's not very nice. I apologize. There we go. Now you'll be able to see it. So I'm just gonna show you the original section, just to see how this is actually meant to be done. This is someone who's clearly better than me. So this is from Nintendo Complete, and if you want to see this video, I'll be linking it in the description below this one. So thank you for being a better video game than I am. Sounds a little bit low in this video, but I'm only showing this video first because there's a higher quality video that will show the ending. So we're just gonna watch this first. So as you can see, this section goes on for way too long. It really doesn't have to be this long. And as you can see, you only have about like 5 hits. And if you hit once, then it kind of discombobulates you so much that you kind of lose focus. With a light gun, this would actually be pretty easy. And then immediately after, there's another fight. And you want to know what the fun part is? There is no saving between these two. If you fail in this fight, You go back to the beginning of the first one. Now this fight is a lot easier. As you can see, it's not nearly as chaotic, but at this point you've most likely been hit multiple times. So even 1 or 2 hits is going to send you back right to the beginning of the first fight again. And again, it doesn't have to be this long. Yeah, they really didn't pull their punches. And then there's one more door, and this is a really mean trick. This is a really mean trick. It throws up the combat screen, but if you shoot, you lose and get sent back to the beginning of the first fight again. That is simply to trick you. If you even draw, I think if you even draw your gun, you lose there, even though it throws up the combat thing. That is mean. It's so mean. Right, now I'm going to flip over to another video now, because this one has got higher quality than the one we're looking at. Slightly higher quality. This is from I Am Panax, and I've again will link that below, so if you want to watch the full video. This simply shows the entire... this is just all the cutscenes in the game. So I'm going to... Right, so now you should be able to hear, hopefully. So I'm going to put it back. And so after that fight, you end up in this room, and then this cutscene plays.
Jamie, are you all right?
Gillian, you came for me.
Are you hurt?
No, they won't lay a finger on me. Not until the new artificial skin is completed anyway.
Artificial skin research? You?
Gillian, I've got my memory back. All of it.
What happened? Tell me, Jamie.
They said they'd kill him. They said they'd kill Harry. They forced me. I had to help them with the skin development. They said I had to help them because the professor was ill. Wasn't getting any better.
So we're going to have some
Gillian,
big revelations
Harry,
left.
he's our son. He's been living on his own now for 50 years.
Jamie, I'm afraid that Harry's...
There was nothing I could do. They forced me. But I can't do it anymore.
Jamie!
The professor... he just died. He was over 100.
The professor? What? This old man?
Don't you remember? It's Professor Modner. Professor Petrovich Modner.
What? This old man is Modner?
Idiot Snatcher.
He's been confined here for 3 years now, just to develop the Snatcher's artificial skin. Terrible. Doing that to your own father.
Whose father? Jamie, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
You really can't remember, can you?
Jamie, tell me who I am. What were we doing at the Kremlin?
Time to find out.
Are you sure you really want me to, Gillian? It's all so awful, but if you must know, I'll tell you. Try to remain calm, okay? 56 years ago, you and I were involved in a top-secret Soviet project. It was still during the time of the Cold War. The gulf between East and West was as wide as ever. Everybody was...
You have not missed anything.
At that point, the world's armies were at their
We're just finding out now.
Leaders still believed that a strong military meant a strong nation. There were rumors that there would be an agreement to end the production of nuclear weapons. On the other
Oh my
hand,
god,
the
allergic.
major powers like the
I'm
US
so sorry.
began to get involved in a space weapons race. But not the Soviets. The conservative despots in the Kremlin had another, completely different idea for gaining military superiority. A horrible plan, something no one else would think of. At that time, the countries of the communist bloc were facing an economic crisis. Popular movements pushing for democracy were springing up all over. Communism itself was facing extinction. Facing pressure from the reformers, the Kremlin began to panic. And that's when that horrible, childish plan was launched.
And that was the Snatcher project. Replace your enemy's leaders with puppets of your own. Then you control their governments, their economies, take over a country from the inside out.
That's right, Gillian. And to develop these robots, they assembled some of the most brilliant scientific minds from around the world. Some of them were even brought in against their will.
They were all commies!
That development effort was a group
Communist robots.
project team. You and I were members of that team, Gillian. It was a 4-person team led by the late Professor Modner here. The robotics expert was Professor Modner himself. His son, Elijah Modner, handled genetics and microbiology.
Elijah Modner.
Biology and picobiology, myself. And for behavioral science and psychology, you, Gillian. Early development was carried out at a lab in Novosibirsk, but was later moved to a secret facility under the Kremlin. At the time, the Glasnost and Perestroika movements were gaining momentum, and they rightly feared for the existence of the program if it should become known. But some of the reformers did learn of the project, and they conspired with the US to block it.
I'm just saying Elijah Modner is an interesting
You were
name.
a CIA special agent sent by the United States to infiltrate and sabotage the project.
I was CIA?
Yes, and the government knows that. That's why
He
you
was
were
a
assigned
fed
to the Junker team.
this whole time.
What? Who am I?
Work on the project continued to go smoothly. But
So you
then,
see what I mean
on June 6th,
about how this feels a bit
1996,
rushed?
there was an accident. A mysterious explosion at the Chernobyl facility spread a bacterial weapon that was under development there into the atmosphere, destroying the country and the project. Gillian, was it you? Did you set off that explosion?
What? You can't be serious. You think I caused the catastrophe?
Somehow, during the confusion, Professor Modner and our son Harry managed to get picked up by American agents. But we couldn't get out in time, you and I and Elijah. In a shelter below the Kremlin, we entered a cryogenic sleep. Our plan was to sleep there until the toxic effects of the bacteria were safely passed.
And then 48 years later, 3 years ago, we were discovered by the 17th Special Investigative Force.
Yes, but when they found us, Elijah's pod was already empty.
Elijah Modner? That guy whose picture was in the church? The one that looks like Random?
That's right, Elijah is alive! Elijah is here and working on the Snatchers.
Why don't you let me finish your little story?
Why don't we?
Who's there?
It's been a while, hasn't it, Jamie? Ah, yes. And Gillian. It's me, Jamie.
Elijah? Is that really you?
Random? No. Not quite.
So, you remember me, do you? I am Elijah Modnar, the only son of Professor Petrovich Modnar. I'm afraid I've grown somewhat old and feeble since we last met, however.
Elijah, why are you doing this? Your father, Professor Modner, he passed away a few minutes ago.
What? My father is dead?
Elijah, what happened to you? The Elijah I knew could never do anything like this.
I've changed, Jamie. These 40 years have changed me.
I can't believe it. What happened to you?
What happened to me? Jamie, do I actually have to explain it to you? Jamie, it's you. Your beauty is the cause of all that has come to pass here.
It's your fault, woman.
57 years ago, I was obsessed. With my research, yes. And with you, Jamie. At the time, I was still young, having just graduated with my genetic engineering degree. My father's connections got me on the team, and there, I met you. You were working as my father's assistant. Your beauty, your smile, I was stricken. I saw something in you that I never felt with women of my own country. You warmed my cold, young heart, Jamie. You opened me up, and I couldn't stop my feelings.
Elijah.
Oh, I was so happy.
It's a bloody love triangle.
The situation was crumbling around us, but
a skinny white girl, I've never seen it before.
I gained my father's
I know, yeah.
trust, and with you there watching over me, I was able to work as hard as I ever have on the project.
Don't start to rise as snatchers, Jamie. You're so sexy.
However, my happiness did not last for long.
No, didn't it?
Gillian, it was you. You showed up and all was ruined. You arrived and joined our project team. Far from home, Jamie found comfort in a man from the same land. Your relationship grew quickly, and all I could do was stand by and watch. Jamie and Gillian fell in love, were joined, and even had a child.
We live in a society.
Even then, my feelings for you only grew stronger. Worried about me, my father tried to have me removed from the project, but I persisted. Jamie,
Can someone please draw the Virgin Chad meme, but it's with Gillian and Elijah?
The democratic movements that had consumed the rest of the Eastern Bloc spread to our country as well. The Cold War was over. The hardliners who had pushed for its development were stripped of power and the project was cancelled. The reformers, trying to cover up the existence of such a crazed project, ordered that all materials related to it be destroyed and that we stand trial for our actions. Jamie and Gillian were to be returned to their homeland. That's about the time that I learned that you, Gillian, that you were a CIA agent, and that you were trying to pass documents on our research to your military. The country had sold us out. I'm no politician. I couldn't care less about what happened to the country. All I cared about was my research and Jamie. And I was to lose all of that, everything. For someone so young, you cannot understand how great of a shock that was.
Elijah.
That is when I decided, I swore I would see that secret crazed project through to the end. At the time, the bioroids were 80% finished. The main part, their endostructure, was essentially completed. But we still were having trouble with the artificial skin, the area that Jamie and I were assigned to. We called it artificial skin, but there was of course no need to duplicate T lymphocytes, Langerhans cells, or endocrine cells. All we needed was keratinized cells and melanocytes to provide the pigment. With the artificial protein development techniques that we had in those days, full-scale synthetic cell...
Look, Hideo Kojima read a book about skin, and he wants to tell you about it.
Months, years. The original project called for us to simultaneously snatch an entire...
Yeah, this is a long cutscene, and he's talking about skin.
Nation, or an entire city had to be snatched over the course of one night. For that reason, a powerful biological agent, which could quickly and effectively
read 2 books.
was being simultaneously developed.
God, you should wait until he reads Moby Dick in 20 years' time.
That's right. A type RAO11 virus which another team was developing. For someone like myself, who was closely involved in the project, blowing up the lab was quite a simple task.
My God, Elijah, do you know what you're saying? That explosion killed half the world's population.
I moved all the materials and records essential to the Bioroid project into the shelter, and executed my plan on June 6th. After sealing off the lab, I brought the 2 of you with me to the underground shelter, and we entered a cryogenic sleep. But not before I programmed an...
So he went so incel, he killed half the world's population.
Lucifer Alpha had passed.
And 10 years later, Lucifer Alpha...
Imagine if people did that. Imagine if people went so incel that they killed people. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Oh no, it worked. Just as planned. It revived me 10 years later. A little sooner than the two of you, of course.
But even though you sealed the lab with the explosion and everything, you should have been exposed. Why weren't you?
Oh, I was. But by that time, the vaccine L Angels had already been developed.
So everything went just as you planned it then?
Yes, up until
Mega simp.
But my real struggle was yet to come.
Oh, God.
My original plan was to revive Jamie as well, and for the two of us to finish the development of the bioroids. You, Gillian, you were to stay asleep forever. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Not after looking at Jamie's peaceful face there in the pod. Besides, I could never have convinced her to work with me on the project anyway. I knew the time was not yet right, so I changed the timers of your pods to permanent on.
How? How could you do such a thing?
And so for the next 40 years, I worked alone in that cold and lonely room under the Kremlin.
That's how Gillian seemed better compared to the guy who killed half of the world.
No one would visit me.
Compared to that, he looks okay.
Saw the sun or felt the changing of the seasons. Still, I always had Jamie by my side. You were always there for me to talk to. Just you and I for 40 years in that dark cellar.
Oh, you poor, poor man.
You poor, poor mass murderer.
3 years ago, my research was finally completed. First, I snatched the Siberian Special Investigative Forces to establish a transport route for the Snatchers. And then, to test the effect of large-scale snatch operations, I chose Neokobe City to be my experimental sample. Neokobe is cut off from the surrounding areas, a sort of miniature country in itself, making it a perfect test site. And since it's a melting pot of various races, it would also allow me to gather extensive data on Snatcher modification and operational techniques. In addition, the element of suspicion or mistrust, which runs deep in Japanese culture, was another reason I chose this site.
But your test revealed a critical flaw in your machine's artificial skin.
Yes, quite unexpected, I'm afraid. All my research for 40 years. I gathered data and worked day and night to find a solution, but nothing seemed to work.
So that's why you decided to bring Professor Modner here, right?
That's correct. I discovered my father in one of the government's hospitals. He was old, but still very sound of mind. Naturally, he would not cooperate with me.
Of course not. He'd never become involved in something like that.
So, unable to receive his assistance, I decided that I had to have yours. But a mistake on my part allowed both you and Gillian to be taken into custody by the authorities first.
This is the first time that Hideo Kojima just gives all the exposition in one long cutscene.
I'm only
But not the
interested in
last.
discovering what I can of the human animal. In the past, it was because of Jamie. My motive is different now.
It sounds like you're just suffering from the wild arrogance that corrupts so many scientists.
So many
Humans are
scientists.
such weak creatures. No matter how much they trust one another, the tiniest speck of suspicion can destroy it all. Look at how the Snatcher problem has caused such wild unrest. No matter how much science advances or how high we set our ideals, we eventually begin to suspect each other, to hate each other, and then to kill each other. The Snatchers are nothing more than a tool for bringing out this reaction. I am simply using the Snatchers to elicit the true nature of the human animal. I think this experiment has shown me the limits of human society. I sincerely doubt it will be able to reach any greater level of prosperity on its own. If human society ever hopes to reach greater heights, what is needed is an absolute leader, a firm ruler who isn't affected by these trivial episodes of mistrust.
You're crazy if you think people would ever obey Snatchers.
Of course they wouldn't. But if they don't know, they cannot object. There has been a time in every age that the people have longed for a god to lead them. As long as they give the people no reason to suspect them, then they can easily become their gods. Indeed, a new race of super beings. We are almost there. Once we perfect the artificial skin, Snatchers will transcend man to become this planet's true human beings.
But you'll never get your perfect skin now. Professor Modner is dead.
I no longer have any use for my father. I have a sample of the new skin he developed. Once I've analyzed it, I'll be able to make as much as I need. Or if need be, we could simply culture the keratinized cells, epithelial cells, and melanocytes in the quantities that we need.
What are you talking about? How could you get a sample of perfected artificial skin?
Why don't you take a look at this?
Oh, please do.
We found this in the rubble of Queen's Hospital.
Please take a look.
Random.
Oh, an acquaintance of yours?
He's a Snatcher?
That term isn't exactly accurate. This bioroid was constructed by my father without my knowledge. He modeled it after me in my youth. He built it right here in this facility. And not only that, he programmed it to destroy Snatchers. This bioroid caused me serious difficulties. It's designed and built far better than my Snatchers. The machine itself thought it was human. My father input memories for it all the way back to childhood. Those too were apparently mine. Haven't you yet realized? Random Hajil is Elijah Modner spelled backwards. How like my father.
A huge chat version of me.
He did virtually overnight what I could not do in 40 years of effort. Furthermore, he makes a bioroid so perfect, even the bioroid itself believes itself to be real. What's more, the cells of the skin he developed are self-replicating. Once in place, no further transplants or culturing is necessary.
Is he dead?
Its main and locomotive systems are completely shut down. It's just scrap now. But the artificial skin is being kept alive. This we need. With this, we can move to phase 2 of our plan of full-scale infiltration of the world's major nations.
The summit's already over. You'll never succeed.
Wait, it's
What
over?
does the summit matter?
Thought they were just starting.
Nothing holds us back now that we have this perfect skin. We can go anywhere we want, and there will be no way to tell us apart. I will have free control over the world. Nothing will be able to stop me. Politics and free thought will no longer have any meaning. My will alone will decide the course of human history.
You egomaniac. Do you think you can snatch the entire population?
There's a fully automated Snatcher factory under the Kremlin. Even as we speak, scores of new Snatchers are being born.
But no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to snatch the people's heart and soul. What do you hope to gain from this anyway?
Jamie, the human race is composed of fools.
He does look a little bit like Sam from Stardew
I'm
Valley.
different. I will be its savior. Indeed, not just of mankind, but of all life on the planet.
That's too much truth.
Metal!
In 10 minutes, this church will be struck by a phased particle beam. I am guiding
Holy
the beam
shit.
from the top satellite using GPS and 15 navigational satellites. The beam cannot miss. Everything in a 2 to 3 kilometer radius from me will be destroyed.
Stop this foolishness now. I will not have my research destroyed by some souped-up pocket calculator.
Metal, what happened at the summit?
The delegates, worried about the Snatcher menace, voted unanimously to allow the use of nuclear weapons on the city. The military is presently imposing a quarantine on Neo Kobe.
What? Do they intend to kill everybody?
The populace is in a state of panic. However, they have agreed to lift the quarantine if this church is struck by the phased particle beam. This is our last chance. I will handle things here. Gillian, Jamie, you two must flee.
You insignificant mass of metal. You'll never...
One move and I detonate. Gillian, run!
Metal is gonna
This is crazy!
fucking own
We can't let a
this.
single Snatcher get out of here. And this new artificial skin has to be destroyed as well.
I will not allow some talking scrap pile to get away with this. If you're the aiming point for the beam, then I'll just have you thrown out of here. Grab this little one and take him out of here.
Metal!
Cowardly little robot.
You always were a real pain in the butt.
What's that?
What? How did... You're supposed to be deactivated.
I don't go down that easy, old man.
Stop this foolish...
Shut up! Let's try to make our final moments peaceful, shall we? And you Snatchers, you touch the little guy and the old man's head comes off.
Random!
I've always hated being used. Why don't you watch the final act with me?
Gillian, you only have 5 minutes. The turbo cycle is just outside on standby. Use that to flee.
Let me go. I'm Elijah Modner. I'm your original.
I don't care if I'm an original or a copy or what. You and I are gonna die right here. If we both die, there won't be a copy anymore now, will there?
The stupid logic of a simpleton, of a machine.
Whatever it is, it's my will!
Machines have no will. Machines cannot sacrifice themselves.
We'll see about that.
You have 4 minutes. You must go. And don't forget to take care of the factory under the Kremlin.
Stop!
Gillian, even if these memories in my head are fiction...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Our memories of our time together are all too real, Random.
Gillian, you become one hell of a junker.
Gillian, it has been most recreational being your partner.
Oh, Metal!
If you can, try to pick up the pieces for me, okay? Like we did for Little John?
Little John? Oh! Okay, Metal.
Hurry! You only have 3 minutes!
Thanks! Thanks, you two! Jamie, come on!
So Random gets a second badass heroic sacrifice in.
Don't let her go.
Sees this fuckery.
You pathetic old fool. You don't even know how to love someone.
You stupid machine. What is that idiotic grin supposed to mean?
By snatching you, I'm finally gonna get my real self back.
Random, there's less than 1 minute to go. Thanks to you, everything will be fine.
You don't owe me any thanks. Sorry to get you involved in such a big job. You did great. You're a hell of a junker.
Hey, did you notice that Gillian didn't do anything here?
Here it comes!
Later, kid!
Yeah, Gillian didn't really do anything there. How would any of that have changed if he hadn't gone? I mean, Metal Gear wouldn't have been there, I suppose.
So you're really going, aren't you?
It's our responsibility, too. Besides, if I go to Moscow, I may get some of my memory back. And if that happens, I'll be able to love you even more than I do now. Wait for me. I want to be with you, but first I've got to destroy this terrible factory of theirs. Jamie, when I get back, let's try living together again. What do you say?
We'll be waiting for you too.
Katrina! Mika! You're here too?
You better be happy, Buster, with all these beautiful women seeing you off.
I'm happy you came. Let me introduce my wife.
Jamie Seed. I suppose it's a little odd introducing myself a second time, though.
What do you mean? You've never met them before, have you?
What are you talking about, Gillian? We're good friends.
Huh? Since when?
It's the first time I've met her in person, but I've spoken with her on the video phone a lot of times.
What? Have you guys been talking about me behind my back?
Yeah. Yeah, you just about beat him to
So
it.
they finalize what they're going to do about Junker operations? I suppose this will end up being our last mission, huh?
Well, originally they were planning on disbanding the team, but now they've decided to keep us in business.
So that means...
That's right. We've been designated as one of the government's special police divisions. That puts us above the regular cops.
So the government has decided
Super
that
cops.
crime by machines poses a bigger threat than crime by humans from here on out, huh?
They've chosen the new chief, too. So when you get back, you'll get to meet the new head honcho.
Well, it's comforting to know I've got a place I can come back to.
Whatever you do, just come home safe, okay?
When you get back from this job, you still have a dinner date to keep with me, you know.
Don't worry. I won't forget my promises to either of you. Oops, almost forgot. Of course, I'll want to spend some private moments with my wife, too, huh? What's wrong, Jamie?
Harry and I will be waiting for you to get home.
That's Harry's hat.
We can do it this time, Gillian. Not some fake couple like before, but with love and trust.
I know, Jamie.
Take care, Gillian.
I'll see you, Jamie.
Wait! Wait for me! Take me with you, please!
You? Metal?
Yes, sir! We didn't have a good frame to work with, so this is just a temporary body. Just call me Metal Gear, Sega CD for now.
So they found your memory chip in one piece, eh?
Random protected it from the blast of the beam.
Random, huh? Wait a second. I've heard that sneeze somewhere before.
Really? I didn't hear anything. Anyway, I want to know if you'll take me with you. Please, Gillian, please take me with you.
Hurry up and get on board, partner.
Yes, sir, Gillian.
And that's it. Riding off into the sunset with our Sega CD'd Metal Gear buddy. As you can probably imagine, sorry.
Suspicion has always bred conflict. The real conflict, though, resides in people's hearts. This conflict has just begun.
Yeah. And that is the end of the game. That is the end of Snatcher. Creator Hideo Kojima. And I'm going to bring us down. And switch us over to this scene again. Do a little wrap up. So, yeah, interesting ending. I do think that the third act is pretty clearly truncated. It's basically just exposition with two way unfair gunfights that I actually have to show that I'm not a pro gamer. I couldn't beat them, and I'm sorry about that. But thank you to I Am Panax for uploading that video. If you want to watch the whole video, then it's in the description. Also, thematically in the game, I find it interesting that the game is obviously cribbing off the Invasion of the Body Snatchers down to the name. Now, Invasion of the Body Snatchers were, if you're unaware, stories that were based on the Red Scare, the fear of communism, where the Body Snatchers were meant to be a pretty thinly veiled metaphor for communists. Hideo Kojima looked at that and went, he literally went, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards. I'm making my body snatching robots into literal communists. But the communists in this game are basically they're just synecdoche for just, I suppose, just fascism, really? Which makes sense from a game that was written in 1988. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, some ending notes I also want to make is that the last, where you see Metal Gear at the end, the body that he uses, obviously in this game, it's the Sega CD, and so it's a Sega Mega Drive and then the Sega CD he just has his bits pasted on top of. Depending on which version of the game you're playing, that's corresponds to the console that you're playing it on. So if you're playing the PlayStation version, he's on a low PlayStation, and so on and so forth. That's basically it. There's plenty more that I'm sure that I could say, but you've listened to me long enough. This has gone on for way long enough, and so anyway, I just want to thank you for watching this episode. I want to thank you for watching the entire Snatcher playthrough. And I want to thank you so much for watching this stream and for following me and for caring about what the hell I'm doing here. And I am really motivated to carry on into next year. There are loads of games. I started making a list of the games that I want to stream next year. So I'm revved up, and I thank you so much for watching and for helping me get to a Twitch affiliate. And I want to say a thank you because I didn't get the notification for this, but I noticed this in the app. It told me this. So thank you so much to Sidbot is Real for subscribing. You're officially my first subscriber. Thank you so much. Yeah, wow. I'm just blown away by that. So that means so much to me. Last point on Snatcher. There was never an official game sequel to this. There was, however, a sequel. The game, there was not a game. There was a version of this game. First of all, there was a chibi version of this game called SD Snatcher. SD for Super Deformed. It is the exact same game, except it has like random encounters, I think, and all the characters are chibis. That was never localized into English. There was also a sequel in the form of a radio play. That game is called SD Atcher, so Snatcher, which is amazing because that game was that play was written by Hideo Kojima. No, it was directed by Hideo Kojima. It was written by Suda51 of Killer 7 fame, with a soundtrack by Akira Yamaoka of Silent Hill fame. That has never been translated into English, so I've never listened to it, and it infuriates me because those are three people I really like. Anyway, I'm so tired now. We've been going for over 3 hours. This is the longest stream I've ever done. I need to go to bed. Thank you so much for everyone who's watched. Thank you everyone who's followed. And I hope you have a happy new year, and I will see you in 2021. I am now going to finally toss you over to someone else. And I'm going to see who is streaming right now. Who is going. So before we go... Oh! Lucky Bun is going. I love Lucky Bun. Please go and watch Lucky Bun. I think he's playing Dante's Inferno, which is a terrible game. But it'll be worth it because he's awesome. He's one of my favorite streamers. So please go and say hello to Lucky Bun from me. And have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next year. Bye.